that happened between these two 17-year-old kids, Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. After doing my research on this incident and reading the police report, Austin Metcalf was the aggressor in this situation. This is Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony had zero criminal history. He has a 3.7 GPA and multiple college football offers. Carmelo Anthony was a track athlete and a track meet. Comes to find out, Austin Metcalf and his twin brother don't even run track. Austin Metcalf had no right to try to remove another student from a school-owned team. Austin Metcalf singled out Carmelo Anthony. Other kids from Austin Metcalf's school are saying that these two are known bullies. Before Austin Metcalf attacked Carmelo Anthony, am I saying that this kid deserved to be stabbed? No, I'm not. But you cannot threaten physical harm on somebody. Trying to be a security guard, take their belongings, break your cell phone, and not expect things to escalate. Austin Metcalf and his twin brother could have went and found an adult. They could have went and told a resource officer. Even though these two don't even run track, they could have found somebody. Carmelo Anthony was arrested on first-degree murder charges. When the police got there, he said, I did it. He shouldn't have put his hands on me. And I see a lot of white people in the comments saying that if Austin Metcalf would have stabbed Carmelo Anthony, it'll be a race war. It'll be all over social media. No, it would not. You white people would be saying Carmelo Anthony was a thug, he's an aggressor, and he was protecting himself. Either way, this is a tragic situation. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Last thing I want to say is, if Austin Metcalf would have just minded his business, didn't try to be this tough guy, he would still be alive. It's hard to say, but it's the truth. So I did my research on this tragic incident that happened between these two segments.
Wow. How about waking up to hear that? Hey, folks. I don't know when that happened. I don't know what state. Actually, it doesn't even really matter. Oh, man. So, just from seeing that video, and I did look at a couple other ones. Apparently, I'm just talking about, you know why I'm going to talk about this? Because it's indicative really of what's going on right now, these times with this new president these folks elected. And somebody in my last comments said that we didn't elect him. And they're a little sad. They're a little pissed off, I guess, because I keep suggesting, not suggesting, I think it's factual. I already fed you, brother. I keep saying that, you know, they put him in on, you know, well, they did, but we can have that debate another day. But it just apparently this brother, track star, what do you say, 3.8 GPA, got college scholarships. So I just always picture myself, and I put myself in other folks' shoes, and I just try to imagine the scene. Okay, so you have a black guy, a black student, and two white students, and apparently these two white students are twins. And just from watching all the different videos and people that were there, those two, the twins, you don't say two twins, the twins were known bullies. So just imagine. And we don't know all the detail. Of course, I don't. I just watched 3 or 4, maybe 5 videos on it. You're at a game. These guys are, I don't know all the details. Just like I said, this is the end result. The end result is that one of those twins is dead and got stabbed by the athlete. But apparently the athlete was being harassed by these two, the twins. I'm sure it's going to be on the news somewhere. I'm sure. But can you, for anybody, I ran track, okay? Amongst other things, sports in school. And I'm just trying to picture that scene. So you're at where, you say you're at the stadium, you're at a public event. And these two are harassing the athlete. Maybe the athlete wasn't even, maybe he wasn't running. Apparently it was a track meet. I'm assuming that he was participating that day. But apparently these guys, I don't know the details. All I know is the result, and all I know now is this guy apparently was defending himself. Defending himself. So here in the United States, everybody wants to be a proponent of stand your ground. See where I'm going with this? Stand your ground. But when a black man, in this case a teenager, stands his ground and defends himself, when he does it and the other person ends up unalived, it's everybody's hair's on fire. Not mine. My hair's not on fire. First, I don't have hair, but my hair's not on fire. Because again, it's indicative of the times, and it's always been like this. Anybody want to get on here and debate me on it's always been like this? I'm more than happy. And in fact, if you come on here and debate me with that, then I'm going to have to go over to my laptop and I'm going to have to prove to you it's always been like this. And see, this is why right now, and here's another thing. Folks are coming in my comments and saying, this is continuing, the things that I say continues to divide us. No, hopefully the things that I say will have folks look in the mirror and do their own research and start reflecting on why they are the way they are and why their ancestors were the way that they were. So when I say things like those folks were evil, when I say that, oh, I can only imagine what goes on in households when they watch me say that. I can only imagine. The mere fact is, the things that they did, the atrocities that these folks' ancestors did, is evil, diabolical, calculating, knowing what they were doing, soulless. Man, I wasn't expecting to be all fired up. But you see how fired up I was? That's how y'all needed to be on that march. So we're going to get back to that because I'm still seeing things about that and folks are still commenting. One commenter said, with the BLM marches, they burned all kind of stuff down. Well, look, guess what happened with those? Those were peaceful. Those were peaceful. They started peacefully. And then other folks came up into those protests and kicked shit off. Started throwing things at remember I talked about the bricks? Remember I started talking about the bricks? A woman on here, non-melanated, said that I talked about this, said that she attended a lot of those BLM movements. And for every single one, keep in mind, this is a woman of European descent, and she was very candid. And she said that for every single one of the ones that she went to, on the streets parallel to where the folks were marching, for every one that she went to, there were pallets. You know what a pallet is? There were pallets stacked with bricks, like they were almost staged there. And you know where they were. So when the other folks that come up into a peaceful event said this is our opportunity, they didn't even have to bring them in their backpacks. They just had to stroll over one block, collect up bricks, put them wherever, put them in their backpacks, put them in their pockets, and now you've got violence. So back to this incident. So some of the videos that I saw on here, of course, you've got the family members that are grieving. Okay, fine. But again, when things like this happen, I always, when I see folks like that grieving for something that I know course, I don't know all the details, but just from what I've been seeing and the witnesses that were there, when I see that kind of thing, the first thing maybe it's a knee-jerk reaction, but I always think about my ancestors back in the day. I have to. This is real. We're still here. Nothing's changed. This is still here. This is still their system. This is still a structure that they've created for them. All right. This one's not going to be a long one, folks. Oh, my goodness. So I'll wake up to that. So how's everybody doing? Yesterday, I found myself a little blue, I must say. And let me tell you why I found myself blue. Because I was going through videos. Some of the things I'm probably going to put on here. You guys want to see more footage of me overseas? I have a whole bunch of footage. I just didn't post it. But you guys want to see more of that? Just drop in the comments and say yes. Would love to see more footage of your last excursion to your second home overseas, and I'll do that. So that's what made me blue yesterday. I was actually looking at the video. Actually, it's on here. That particular video is on here where I'm strolling down the beach in the morning. If you haven't seen that one, go back and look at it. I like to look at my older videos, and because I'm a content creator, so I have to look and see which things people are gravitating to and what things they are. Now, keep in mind, 99% of the time, I don't plan shit. I just come on. I hit the button. If it's in my head, then I say, well, I want to talk about this. This is a good suggestion for content creators too. Don't overthink. I used to do that. I used to do that. I used to overthink the things that I was going to say on the video. But anyway, so that made me blue yesterday. Watching myself walking down a beach where I'd rather be than here talking about this stuff. Hold on, man. I'm gonna give you a treat. See, he's spoiled. He wants his sugar. This is like sugar for a cat. These little treats. I try to only do it occasionally. There you go. Oh man. Seems like deja vu, huh? This is pretty much a routine, so you're just in on it. You're just in on the routine. But anyway, I was a little blue yesterday. I mean, in fact, I made a whole video, and I said, nah, this one you don't want to post. Because folks probably would have been like, hey man, you might want to call somebody. And I said, nah, I can't do it. And I wasn't like depressed or anything. It was just I was just taking in everything that's going on, and here I am right back in the middle of it, right back in the middle of it where I left off before I went overseas, 6, 7, almost 8 weeks ago. And so it made me blue. So what I think I'm gonna end up doing is, my plan was always this is gonna be a little long, I see. My plan was always to get back over to overseas at least twice a year. At least that's been the pattern. That pattern has been at least twice a year that I'll shoot over there, and that goes all the way back to when I started the whole process, and that was in 2017. So you see, it's pretty frequent. And I was working. Too. And I was doing it, and I was going other places too, not just there. I was going all over the place. I was, like I said, I've been we're gonna do a whole series on why I picked this as a what do you call it? My handle on here, because I've been to a lot of places, and we can talk about that. But anyway, So I was blue yesterday, and we're just gonna have to do things a little different today. I'm gonna focus today, hopefully, a little bit on my music, and I'm back in this mess. That's all. I'm back in this mess. Salud. Everybody, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. If you're not exercising, exercise. If I was unable to exercise, yeah, I might have to talk to somebody. Mental health is a thing, okay? Even though everybody's all strong or thinks they're strong, no, mental health is a thing. So if you haven't taken steps to alleviate the stress, i.e., meditate, get a hobby, work out, talk about it as I do. I talk about it, then or put yourself in another place. Not like I know before anybody jumps in my comments, I know everybody can't get on an airplane and go somewhere. I understand that, but change your scenery. So, well, I don't have a car. Okay. I'm trying to head you guys off at the pass before you come in my comments. Just change where you live. Is that okay? Can you do that? So that can you walk somewhere? Can you do that? Then walk somewhere else. Sit on a bench and just be. But you must. It's imperative that you take care of your mentals. And I'm gonna get off of here with this, because if you don't take care of your mentals actually affects your physicals. It really does. Okay? That's all I got to say today. It's early. I went to bed at 7 o'clock. I told you guys to go to bed early. I went to 7 o'clock, and I knew. Can you imagine a guy? I'm a baller, right? I'm a baller. Well, I had to perfect that in my later years, but my early years, yeah, that was me. Let me tell you whose game. I'm 6'2", right? So I try to imagine who in the league right now today I was playing like. Can you guys guess? Now keep in mind, I was dunking the ball like Jordan. Okay? I'm 6'2", and I was dunking the ball like Jordan. Who do you get? The folks that are into sports, basketball, who do you think today I look at and say, yeah, that's probably how, because I don't have any video footage of me, because most of my stuff was around Baltimore and then the Rex, the different leagues I was in Baltimore, and of course with my buddies growing up in the neighborhood, we would go around the city and play. Well, we did have a team. We had a team, and we would go as a team and go around. Not official. We did have an official team, but most of the time we were just going around practicing and going to other different hoods to play in the city, to make us better, right? Okay. So who do you think in the league? Guess who? The way, the ferociousness that this guy slams is how I was slamming. And that's Ja Morant. Because I was skinny like him. And I got big legs. They call it hopping out. You got hops, jump out the gym. And I wasn't big at two-handed slams. I was more big at coming down off of one leg and rising, rising and hard. That was a sidebar that I just did there. That was a sidebar. So we'll get back on track today. Like I said, I'm going to work on my music and continue to press forward and see how things work out with the markets today. If things keep going down, folks, hope people will have a contingency plan. I hope y'all are heeding what I'm saying. Things are already going to be bad. They're just going to get worse. The reason they're going to get worse is because folks are not going to have any money. And when folks don't have money, then people start getting angry. That's when we'll see them out in the street angry. None of that going to Woodstock shit.